Welcome back to the podcast, you great, big, juicy legends. I hope you had an ace weekend. I had an ace weekend. Yesterday, whenever you listen to this, on Saturday, I went to the Ministry of Sound Orchestra and they play all the classics. John Course, if you know him as a DJ, which I'm pretty sure you would, he was playing. There were a few other DJs there, and then the actual Ministry of Sound Orchestra with live singers and, just drums, guitar, DJ, violin, strings. Wow. It was epic. So it was an event at the Sydney Myer Music Bowl in Melbourne, which is kind of, I guess, it's named after someone with the surname Sydney, but confusing, Sydney Myer Music Bowl. It was held there and it was a ripping hot, not even summer's day in Melbourne, ripping hot. And my friend Nova said that she has got some tickets and do me and Steve want to go. And we love a good dance, as you know. So Steve and I, we got our tickets and we all went in together. We got in there at 5 in time for John Course because he is just a sick DJ. And we got there and we found our spot close-ish to the stage, but with a bit of breathing room and air room under cover. And we did not stop dancing for 5 hours. 5 hours literally of dancing. I went to the toilet twice, which is a record for me. I deliberately didn't drink much so I wouldn't wee so much. But yeah, it was such an incredible time. It was so incredible because, for me anyway, because I used to go out back in the day when I was in the party scene, drug scene, going from the Prince nightclub to 161 to Revolver. That was our trilogy, our trifecta. Revolver became my church for a little while, which is pretty gross. Literally going out Saturday night at, 11 p.m. and rolling back home Sunday, maybe 4 o'clock. And yeah, pretty gross. In a pretty gross state, not eaten, ulcers developing in mouth, not showered. Googly eyes. Let's just say Tuesdays were terrible. If you were in that scene, you will know about the terrible Tuesdays. Anyway, so it was cool to be there and to be there sober with the people that I love, dancing my fucking ass off, creating new memories while I was thinking of old memories, of just cringe memories of getting kicked out of Revolver. Who the hell gets kicked out of Revolver? I get kicked out of Revolver. Yeah. I thought a friend was giving me something, but they gave me something else. And let's just say I fell into a hole. Specifically a K-hole, and I got kicked out of Revolver. So thinking about those kinds of times, well, I also had a lot of fun. Don't get me wrong. I had a lot of fun, but there were some cringe moments and some hairy moments. So yeah, to be out on a Saturday during the day, dancing my butt off with my beautiful Steve by my side. And can I just say, his muscles are just looking so sexy, like cheapest creepers. That guy's got some biceps on him. Anyway, Steve, if you're listening to this, I hope you are because you're looking very sexy, my love. And my gorgeous friends just bopping away. Finishes at 10 o'clock. Go home, take a Voltaren, actually eat because I haven't eaten since lunchtime. Eat something, take Voltaren, have the longest, best shower where I actually wash my hair and brush my teeth and wash my body with soap. And then toddle off to bed. To be honest, I actually didn't get to sleep till about 1 a.m. Because my body was so sore. Just I would turn over and it would literally take an eternity. I'd be like, ugh. And again, I didn't want to drink too much because I didn't want to have to wee in the middle of the night. But anyway, it was worth it. So I had a ripper weekend, FYI, just saying. And I caught up with some other beautiful friends for lunch on a Sunday, which is actually a very good thing for me as an Enneagram type 4. They often say a healthy Enneagram type 4 is out and about, because Enneagram type 4s, if you're familiar with it, or if you're just listening to this and go, maybe I kind of sound kind of similar. If I'm a bit more deep into my personality, I will get very introverted. My introversion is definitely where I go to naturally, but I will not go out at all if I'm too deep into my personality and the stories that are going on in my head. So sometimes when I have a few things on, I'm like, oh no, am I going to have enough time? Am I going to have enough space? Am I going to have enough energy? I need to protect this, that, and that at all costs. But then when I'm out and I think about the incredible memories that I had and the laughs that I had, I'm like, I'm so glad I did that. So anywho, I'll look forward to some rest in the few days to come. That's not what I want to talk about today. What I want to talk about today is the rupture and repair cycle. And I want to give you an example of a recent rupture and repair because this is real, raw, relatable. And because I choose to live as close to my authenticity as possible. And when I create a rupture, meaning when when I upset a situation, when I speak harshly, when my tone of voice is cutting, if I close down my energy, that's a rupture. It's either a rupture towards Steve or to the girls, typically toward them. Maybe back in the day when I was with my family growing up, I was just chucking ruptures everywhere. Anyway, I want to talk about that cycle because it's an important cycle if you are wanting to live this authentic life, if you are wanting to live a life where you feel very close to your real and genuine self. What I mean by that, firstly let's look at authenticity and authentic and maybe a meaning of it. People are going to give many different meanings of it. But when it comes to authenticity, the way that I see it is when we are authentic, we are moving through the world from a very relaxed state of being. Because when we are in our relaxed state of being, that is when we are us. We are in touch with our senses. We are in touch with our intuitive sense, our instinctive sense. And we laugh when we want to laugh. We are quiet when it feels very true to be quiet. We, get involved when it feels true to get involved because that is basically what feels natural from that relaxed state of being. When we are inauthentic, we are operating out of a relaxed state of being. We are operating from an unrelaxed state of being, meaning we are very much in our head. So if someone says something funny and we laugh, then we go, oh no, we shouldn't have laughed. Look, hey, let's not laugh again for the entire lunch because your laugh is too loud. Or you might be going to a lunch with friends and you do feel a little bit quieter. There might be some things going on in your world, or you just are having a bit of an introverted day. But you go there and you put on that fakeness and you put on that, extra to fit in and to not have questions asked of you, as opposed to turning up or even preempting, pre-messaging friends and go, hey, I can't wait to see you all at lunch today. I'm just letting you know I'm a little bit quiet. I'm not sure why, but yeah, can't wait to see you all. You're sharing yourself from a true state, not a false state. So if you are wanting to live on that path where you are operating out of life from a more relaxed state of being, then we need to look at when we rupture and how to repair. And I'm going to give you an example. So my youngest bonus daughter, Mia, she still lives with between her mum and dad, 50-50, 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. And they live quite close to our home. And since they have moved close to our neighborhood and home, Mia has popped in. She pops in before school, she pops in after school. Now, I haven't said anything for some time because I've been trying to wrestle in my own mind of like, Kat, it's her home. Of course, she can pop in and she can pop out. But then in my head, I'm like, but no, I need to know when she's doing that because I've arranged things and I want that time to myself because I now know that I have that time to myself. Because also Allegra, my eldest bonus daughter, she's been studying. She's been in year 12. She's in exams and she's finished school. So she's here all the time now, which is cool. She's cool. She keeps to herself. Her energy and my energy get on quite well. We're actually the same Enneagram type. So I think we understand one another, although sometimes that can be hard. Anyway, so she pops in and before school, after school, on weekends, and I was getting very frustrated by it. And so when she would pop in, what I would do is my natural response is to close down. When I feel that a boundary has been breached, not that she knew that there was a boundary there, let's just also say that. But when I feel that my boundary has been breached, my easiest way to let you know that there's a boundary is to close down my energy. And that looks like closing down my joy, closing down my light, closing down my kindness, closing down my ability to look at you in the eye, closing down my ability to acknowledge that you are a human with need, right? That is what I do. Am I proud of it? No. Is it my instant reactionary response? Yes. Am I forever working with it? Yes. Which is why I know that it can create a rupture and it's my responsibility to create the repair. So there was this one day where she popped in and again, my energy closed down and she left. Steve said to me afterwards that when she walked out, she quietly pointed to me when she was looking at Steve and then she sort of shrugged her shoulders. And I know what I'm doing, right? I know that my energy is closed down, but to be honest, there are times where I just can't control it and I'm in it and I'm already in it. And I knew it and I'm not proud of it and I feel crap about it. And he said to me, and this is why I love our relationship so much. He said, I know you love Mia and you know how much she loves you. I think you need to have a conversation. You're in your right to have your boundaries and to want your boundaries. And in the same breath, this is also her home. Maybe you two just need to talk it out, see where her point of view is from, her see where your point of view is from, and then see how we go. And it's so easy to not want to be the one to repair, right? Because then you have to take ownership, then you have to take responsibility, then you have to basically own up to, fuck, I've created a rupture. And I've got to have a real and honest conversation. And this is all the thread throughout my book, what I write about in my book, Authentic. And I heard what he said and I knew it to be true. And so I messaged Mia and I said, hey, when we're both free, let's both go for a walk this week and talk about, and I want to share with you why I shut down and go quiet when you pop in. And I said, when are you free? So then we had set a date for the next day. And this was literally last week, might I just add. This was last week. So I said, I'll meet you after school, meet you at the bus stop, and then I'll walk you home to mum's. And we took a bit of a longer route. She wanted to get sushi, which was perfect because we needed a bit of a longer time to walk. And I said to her, actually said to her, I'm like, all right, are you ready to get awkward? And she's like, yes. I've been dreading this all day. And I'm like, all right, it's all good. It's you and it's me. We know how to talk openly and honestly here. And we know what the topic is about. So let's get awkward and we'll do it together. And I said, would you like to be awkward first? And she said, yes, I would. And so we knew what the topic was about. And so she shared with me, and this is what gets me. She shared with me that when she comes to our home and when she pops in, most of the time she's made to feel like she's not welcome, either by her sister or by when I close down. And she said, I know that, she said, I know what you're like and I know you like your space. But that's just how I feel when I come over. I said, okay, I get that. I fully get that. And might I just say I'm sorry, which is exactly why I'm here to have this conversation with you. And I said to her, okay, can I get awkward with you? And she said, yes. I said, okay. I said, for me, I said, me, Mim. I like my space. I'm not someone that likes, constant people around me. And you know that I'm okay to do that. But when I get my space, that is sacred to me. And for me in my head, when you go back to your mum's, I'm like, okay, cool. There's more space available. I know what Allegra's doing. She's studying. She's doing this. She's doing that. Plus, she's not a very needy type energy. Mia knows that she's a bit more of a needy type energy. And so when I have that time, yeah, it's my sacred time. And I said, plus, I'm forever maneuvering my schedule around what are the girls up to? Okay, Mia's at school till this time. Allegra's now home. Okay, can I bring this client into the home? Do I need to put it on Zoom? I've got recordings to do, etc. I said, so there is so much work that goes into how I schedule things. And so when you pop in, which I know is a very innocent thing for you to do, I get really frustrated. I get very frustrated. And then you become the focal point of the frustration because you're the one that's come and popped in. And I said, there's been times, Mim, where I've asked you before to please let me know. Just let me know if you're coming to pop over, and I'll say, okay, cool. Please just be mindful that I'm recording upstairs or that I've got a client. I said, because when I'm with a client, like that is also sacred time. I need to be fully there. I need to be fully there. And she got it too. She fully got it too. And I just also said to her, can I ask why you feel the need to pop in? I said, because you're looking for lots of reasons to pop in. And I know that they're very flaky reasons. And she said, I just miss you guys. I just miss you guys. And I feel like when I'm with you, I can breathe. I said, well, fair enough. I said, fair enough. That's a pretty nice reason, and that's a pretty fair reason. So we're walking. She's eating her sushi. I'm carrying her backpack, her school bag. And I said, okay, clearly, so you and I both have needs, right? You and I both have needs. You have the need to come to our home because you miss us and you want to pop in and you just want to see us and say g'day and then go home. I have a need for space and for what I have set out, knowing that I've worked it around you guys, for that to be held in respect. That's my boundary. I said, so how about we come to this agreement? How about in the mornings you don't pop in? You go to school, you walk to the bus, and you do your thing, and then after school, I know in my head that at 4:05 you're coming in for a pop in to say good day, probably eat some of the food in our fridge, pat the dogs, have a little bit of a chat, and then toddle off home. How does that sound? And she said, deal. And literally, I think that walk probably took us, 30 something minutes. Probably 20 minutes was the whole conversation, and the rest was then just, chit chat about school, about this and about that, and whatever else in between. And that's an example of rupture repair. And her and I are awesome now. She doesn't pop in the mornings. She pops in after school, and I know. And that way, I'm like, okay, cool. What's my schedule? Right. I won't schedule anything in that is like recording based or a very serious meeting, so to speak, I'll make sure, if I can actually, that I'm free so that I can see her when she pops in. And that's now cool. Now we've got that. And then the next day she messaged and she's like, hey, I'm thinking of walking up to the bookstore. Want to catch a walk with me? And I said, yeah, that sounds awesome. And so her and I are repaired, and I feel closer to her. I feel closer to her. That charge that I had about her popping in is gone. But again, if you look at it, she didn't know that there was a boundary in place. She didn't know there was. There was a boundary in my head because this is how I schedule my life. But until the boundary is crossed, I'm like, hey, whoa, my boundary is crossed, which I didn't even know that I had a boundary there myself until it was crossed. And so when she kept coming in, then, like I said, my energy to me, her coming in was rupture to me. My energy toward her was my rupture toward her. So we were rupturing together without us really knowing why, until someone gives a fuck to ask the question, to have a conversation. And Steve cared enough about our relationship to go, you need to sort this out. Because also he said, I get anxious about her popping in because I know what you're going to be like. And it just shouldn't be this way. It doesn't need to be this way. So him bringing the conversation to me have eating enough humble pie over my ears to be able to admit when I'm wrong, or when I am contributing to something that really isn't good, and even I don't like it, right? Then leads to, okay, if I'm being more true, if I'm being true to myself, if this life of authenticity is important to me, what have I got to do here? What have I got to do here? And I know what I've got to do. I've got to have a conversation and repair. So I want to bring that to your life today. I wanted to share that with you today. One, because I think it's a perfect example that I'm sure in your lives, whether you be a parent, whether you're in a relationship, whether you've got a parent, whether you've got a sibling, whoever it may be, there will be ruptures happening. And do you care enough to repair? Your ego probably won't want to repair it, depending upon your personality type. Some Enneagram personality types will absolutely want to repair it, but they'll repair it out of anxiety. They'll repair it out of, oh, I need them to love me. I need them to love me. I need them to love me. All is good. All is okay. Pop in all you like. It's fine, darling. It's fine, darling. And then never actually share their own needs, share their own boundary. And then there will be other personality Enneagram types that, well, I don't give a fuck. I don't care. You can pop in all you like. I ain't giving you anything. I ain't giving you any love. And that's, neither of those are the truth. Neither of those are the truth. The truth is always somewhere in the middle. And fuck, it's hard to live in the middle, isn't it? It's so fucking hard to live in the middle. But it seems to be where the answers are. It seems to be where the juice and the gold is. So I will leave this real, raw, relatable share with you today to ponder, to have a look into your own life where there may be some ruptures that are unrepaired, that in your heart of hearts, you actually give a fuck about repairing. But maybe your ego's just being a little bit rigid, little bit in self-righteous land. And God, don't we all know that and love that, until it just gets old and we're carrying around a whole lot of shit, resentment, anger that ain't good. Ain't good for ourselves, ain't good for others, ain't good for the planet. So, I'll leave that with you to ponder and reflect upon.